Welcome to Cigar Creed. I'm JJ. Thanks for tuning in. Couple things to cover. I know it's been a while since I made a video. That's why I'm coming at you today. Some things and events have transpired over the last little bit. And some of them are relative to the crop that we had started to sow the seeds on. Anyway, unfortunately, we lost the first batch. Okay, certain things happened. Nothing. I have nobody to blame but myself. Realistically, highest form of maturity is to admit to mistakes, and that's what I'm doing. So, a few factors were involved, but ultimately, it all falls on me. I'm the one that planted them, sowed them, and was supposed to be responsible for them. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate, but I had my kids involved. They were helping me take care of the plants because they had other plants in one of my flats that I had for doing the seeds. So they were looking after their flowers and whatnot. And we had a little mister, atomizing spray bottle. And there was one that was filled with water. There was also one that had not just water in it, but it was a water vinegar solution that we use for cleaning purposes. And my children accidentally mistook it for the one with water. So as I was allowing them to mist it every other day, unbeknownst to me, I was not aware that they were using the one with vinegar in it. So you could imagine what happened. Killed off every seedling that was there, any seeds to be sown. Unfortunately, even made the soil toxic, I guess you could say. So, feeling a little discouraged after a few weeks of that, thinking that the seeds were coming along. Also, my grow lights started to malfunction, which I was not aware of at the time either. So here I am thinking the grow lights are going, and every time, the funny thing is every time I checked on them, they were on, and they were running, and temperature was good. Somehow, throughout periods where I wasn't, checking in on them, and I would every day, but the lights were working intermittently because the lights create heat, and the heat is trapped within a little greenhouse thing that I have. So, because there was no heat, and because there was no lights, there was no heat, and temperature dropped a little bit. They weren't getting the light and the heat that they needed. Not to mention the vinegar being sprayed. So that was the first part of it. The second part of it as well, or second and third part of it as well, was we got a couple wicked storms that came through, wreaked havoc on everybody in the Golden Horseshoe area especially. And I also lost a fence. So there's about 6 posts that I have to replace and some boards and whatever, etc. Crappy thing is that the ground is, now starting to thaw. At the time it was still frozen, so there's nothing I could do about it. But it will also push back the ability possibly to plant my plants. So providing how fast I can get it done. For those of you who have neighbors and share a fence with a neighbor, you know how difficult that can be to try and coordinate things. Not even just fence, trees, whatever. They want one thing, you want another. They don't want to spend X amount of money, you do. So it's a bit of a headache that way, and a bit of an argument back and forth and trying to compromise. So that fence that fell over was where we'll be planting the seeds, the seedlings, and the plants. And I really don't want to be planting them before that fence is fixed, because I don't want to be accidentally tromping on them. We have to dig new posts, dig out the old ones because they fractured and broke. So, what's my point? My point is that things have been kind of delayed a bit and held back. However, like Fuente, like Padron, things got difficult, things got tough. You know, you can't stop nature, you can't stop things from happening, it's what you do about it. And with that, you know, in my opinion, anybody that takes more than 2 minutes to make a decision is not going to follow through directly. So, a little bit of a philosophy I live by too is don't take any longer than a minute to make a decision. Especially big choices too. Sometimes, take the night to think about it. But a lot of choices to be made. If you have to think more than a minute about it, probably shouldn't be doing it. So, what I've done is I've completely thrown out all the soil, got rid of all the soil in the flats, washed them out, introduced new soil, seeded the crap out of the flats. So before it was a little sprinkle. No, this time it was just, load the frickin' trays up. So I wanted to make sure I got some plants growing, I got a good yield, and start plucking at them. But anyway, without any further ado, not that I'm comparing myself to Fuente or Padron, far from it, but their principles, their teachings, their philosophies are something to be admired, because they let nothing stop them. They didn't let Sandinista stop them. They didn't let weather stop them. They didn't let fire stop them. I'm not going to let a little thing like this stop me either. So we're going to continue on with this year's crop. It may be, a little behind than what I like, but you know what? There's always a solution. And with that being pushed behind, what I didn't have last year is what I have this year is a little greenhouse. And with that greenhouse, it will help to color cure the leaves better, hopefully faster, because they won't be exposed as much to air, and help maintain somewhat better moisture and better heat. So hopefully they'll cure a lot better. And because of that greenhouse, I can carry that on in the season a little bit later than if they were just left out in the elements. Anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to show you what we have so far. Okay, so what we're looking at is our second crop for the year. Like I said, the first one unfortunately got destroyed. Nothing we can do about it. I could have just said, yeah, forget it, I'm not doing this year. We're going to do it anyway. I want to do a step-by-step. This is what's happening. This is, unfortunately we lost it. But as you can see, we got a nice one going now again. So what I've done, like I said, you could use tin foil, you could use saran wrap. I've used little toothpicks to prop up the saran wrap. Now I have no toothpicks for my martinis. Anyway, basically you're kind of creating almost like a greenhouse, right? So with that, I have not had these in direct sunlight. They have not been sitting in sunlight. You want to keep them away from that. They are still young. The sun will fry them. I know they need light, but natural light coming in through the window is more than enough, depending on where you have them positioned. So as you can see, they've sprouted quite nicely. Now, here's what we do with these, okay? Because this is what we want. We want it all gathered in as centered as possible. This one's got a nice distribution, no big deal. We got a few here. Our other one is just the same. I wish I had farmland to plant all these suckers, but what do you do? A lot of these will be wasted. Like I said, I went to town. I went overboard because I wanted to make sure I got a good yield, because to try and make up for lost time. So unfortunately, a lot of these are going to be disposed of, but that's okay. We're going to collect the seeds again, and we will have more than enough to go around. As you can see, not much has come up yet on the larger flat. There are a few sprouting up. I got a nice big one here, another nice little big one coming up here, and another one right there. So this guy is kind of, see, there you go. Look how gentle you have to be with them. I literally just touched it and ended up pulling it right out. So we're going to do a little bit more of a closer shot while we do this, but essentially what you want to do is you want to comb through the piles that you have, or the gathering that you have of all your little seedlings that have popped up. Comb through them. You want to get rid of the smaller ones, the weaker ones, any of them that aren't, sitting straight up. However, keep in mind they follow the light. But you want ones with large leaves, nice big leaves. They're going to have a good rich root to them. Now this guy here, I don't know if you could see it, had kind of fallen over, and he was the biggest one in here. There's another one I just pulled out. Anyway, he was the biggest one in here, so I decided to kind of help him along. Propped him up with some toothpicks because he started to fall over, and I just took some soil, pulled it from the edges, and just kind of placed it around. Okay, just like that. So at this point, it's been just over 2 weeks, like 2 days. So about 16 days at this point. And basically we're just going to thin out the herd. See, I don't know if you can see how well this guy is right here. He's doing quite nice. And then there's other little ones around him. We're just going to toss them out. So what you don't want to do is to get them too crowded, because the stalks and the roots will start intertwining with one another and tangling. And we want to see that. See, that was a big one. And then we're just gonna get a nice little pile like that in all the other flats, and then take it from there. Anyway, just going to work your way through, sift through everything, pull out some of the shorter ones. Like I said, you don't want them to intertwine with the larger, because they're going to want to rely on each other for support. So when they intertwine like that, you want to make sure that they are separated, because you want their stalks to get big and healthy. You don't want them to be leaning on each other for support. All right, there's the aftermath. As you can see, not much left in there. And same with these guys. Thinned them out, got rid of the small ones, kept the larger ones. Some of them as well were a little too close, and unfortunately when I pulled them out, they pulled a whole bunch out too. I let them, like I said, I had did a bunch of seeds, more than what I should have, but like I said, you know what, you can't make up for lost time. I'm trying to make up for lost time, but realistically you just take it as it comes and do what you need to do. And I'll end up, as these grow and they grow bigger and stronger, I'll keep plucking them until I have one or two, maybe three healthy ones in there, and that's about it. So that's it. So, as you see, we lost a crop, gained a new one. Now we're sitting back on track. Yeah, we're a little bit behind. It happens, okay? As much as you like to try and control the situation and from beginning to end, you don't know what's going to happen. So all you can do is start it, carry on, do what you know, and hope for the best. Take what you know and use it to your advantage. Not just growing tobacco in anything, life. So, also, I just want to mention one thing. I do hope the people of Nicaragua have and will come to some sort of terms and agreements soon. I think there was 38 dead the last I seen or heard of. All this political nonsense, and the public is fighting for their rights, and so they should be, I just hope that everything works out for them and everybody continues to live on peacefully. So far, the industry hasn't taken a huge hit. It's the people that are affected the most. Yes, the people are involved in the industry, the families, the rollers, etc., people who are retired, that are losing their pension because of the government's taking it all away from them. So I don't blame them for being angry, and I don't blame them for wanting the political or any of the politicians involved to step down and make room for somebody else that's going to lead them to success. So my hopes and prayers out to them, and stop the fighting. That's it. Love each other, care for each other, be in peace. Have a cigar. Relax. Life is good. It's better with a cigar, but damn, it's good. And anyway, I'll leave you with that. Till then, JJ Cigar Creed, coming at you soon. Thanks.